Let's talk about a massive shift that's happening right now in how we build applications. For what feels like forever, the hardest part of the job was writing and wrangling code. But with AI assistants getting so powerful, that's just not the case anymore. The new skill, the most essential skill, isn't just about coding, it's about communication. It's about being able to tell an AI exactly, precisely what you want it to build. And that's what we're going to dive into.
This quote absolutely nails it. Think about it. The role of a developer is changing right before our eyes. We're moving from being the craftsman, the one laying every single brick of code by hand, to being the architect who designs the master blueprint. The AI is now the construction crew, and our job is to give them flawless instructions. This new way of thinking, this new way of working, it's called spec-driven development.
But before we get into the solution, we've got to talk about a common trap. It's a habit that so many of us have fallen into when we're working with AI. It's got a great name too, vibe coding. And honestly, if you've ever asked an AI to write some code for you, you've probably done it.
So what is vibe coding? Well, it's that back and forth dance you do with an AI. You have a general idea, a vibe, right, for what you want. You type in a prompt, the AI spits out some code. It's close, but it's not quite right. So you tweak the prompt, you edit your request, and you try again. It's this whole reactive loop of trial and error.
Yeah, this probably looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? You kick things off with a simple prompt. The AI gives you something. Then you refine it. Oh, actually, could you use this library instead? Or, hey, you forgot to handle this one edge case. The AI tries again, and you just keep repeating this cycle until, fingers crossed, you finally land on the code you had in your head all along.
And this right here, this gets to the core flaw of vibe coding. It is totally unpredictable. AI models a lot of the time are non-deterministic. That means you can give it the exact same vague prompt 10 times and get 10 slightly different results. For any serious developer trying to build something reliable, that lack of control is, well, it's a huge problem.
From a pure engineering standpoint, there's an even bigger issue at play here. Vibe coding basically encourages you to throw the entire software development lifecycle, the SDLC, right out the window. It tempts you to jump straight into writing code, completely skipping the crucial steps like planning, design, and requirements gathering that are there to make sure we build quality, robust software. So if vibe coding is the chaotic problem, what's the solution? Well, this is where spec-driven development comes into the picture. You can think of SDD as a structured, disciplined way to bring those proven engineering principles back into the process, but adapted for this new age of AI.
Okay, so what's the big idea with SDD? It's simple, really. You don't start by asking for code. You start by writing a detailed specification, basically a contract. This spec defines the system's required behavior and all of its constraints. You're telling the AI exactly what the system needs to do, leaving absolutely no room for interpretation or guesswork. This process creates a way more intentional workflow. It's not a chaotic loop, it's a straight line. First, you create the spec. Then, the AI uses that spec to generate a full design and a list of requirements. And here's the key part. You review and approve that plan before a single line of code gets written. Only after you give it the green light does the AI actually start the implementation. At the end of the day, it's all about this. AI models work best when you give them crystal clear instructions. A detailed spec gets rid of all the ambiguity. It transforms the AI from a sort of creative but maybe unreliable partner into a precise engineering tool that just executes your plan perfectly. No more guessing.
All right, theory is one thing, but let's make this super concrete. To really see the difference, let's take a really common, simple task, building a login page, and see how these two different approaches would tackle it.
I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day, right? The vibe coding request is just one sentence. I need a login page. The AI has to guess everything. What's the endpoint? What are the variable names? How should it handle errors? Who knows? But the spec-driven request, it leaves nothing to chance. It defines the endpoint method, the exact variable names, exactly how to handle errors, and even what tests to generate. One is a wish, the other is a blueprint.
That login example really captures the fundamental shift here. We're moving away from a development process that feels like it's based on chance and guesswork and moving towards building with clear, unambiguous intent. It's a deliberate move from chaos to control. And this isn't some brand new idea that came out of nowhere. It's really the next logical step in how software engineering has been evolving. For years, we started with a code-first mentality. Then we matured and moved to test-first, with things like test-driven development, where you light your tests before the code.
And now, we're moving to spec first, where the detailed specification comes before everything else.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Why is it like TDD on steroids? Well, think about it. A really good spec doesn't just define the tests. It defines the entire system architecture. The user behavior, the implementation plan, the spec drives everything.
And this brings us to what might be the single biggest takeaway in all of this. In spec-driven development, the code itself is no longer the most important thing. The specification is. The spec becomes the central source of truth, and everything else, the code, the tests, the documentation, all of it is generated from that spec.
So this all leads to a final, really important question we should all be thinking about. As AI continues to write more and more of the actual code, is a developer's most valuable skill going to be their ability to write that perfect, unambiguous spec? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Share and subscribe to Learn AI for more AI insights.